Hello everyone, these are my thoughts on ABBA's The Visitors. ABBA, no need for too much introduction. They are 70s, 80s pop icons, and of course they're known for so many well-rounded and well-known singles. I personally have heard many songs of theirs, never heard any albums, obviously up until I started this whole journey, but definitely was familiar with some songs. And yeah, ever since this journey I have listened to quite a lot of their albums. My favorite so far has been Arrival. I am quite a fan of Super Trooper though. I feel like that's quite an underrated one, but Arrival so far has been my favorite album that I've listened to. And this is their final one. This was their last one that they dropped as a group, The Visitors. And I will say that it is definitely more dark and more melancholic than their traditional songs. They try to take a little bit more of a, not serious, but I guess a little bit more of like a darker tone. They're not afraid to touch on subject matter that they aren't normally used to touching up on. And for that I do kind of respect what they bring on this album. Off the first track, you can already sense that this isn't going to be the traditional happy ABBA that you're used to. It is a little bit darker, a little bit more different. The first track comes in with this kind of eerie, morbid, I wouldn't say scary, but definitely daunting kind of tone. It's a song about somebody that is a political rival, or at the very least somebody that does not support the politics of a certain group. I've read that it's related to the Soviet Union at the time, but again, it doesn't, specifically talk about the Soviet Union. It just talks about somebody that has been disagreeing with some form of person in power, and they are afraid of that secret police knocking down their door and coming in and taking them away for their opinion. The song itself is very interesting. It's very exciting. I think it's very well structured. The instrumentals kind of piece together really well, and I think it does come across as a very strong introduction for this album. Although I don't think a lot of the other songs kind of hit on the same kind of narrative, especially it's definitely not like a political album, but I'm open to accepting that this is like an intro to just introduce this very serious tone that ABBA are going to come with on the album. From this point on, there are many songs that I really do enjoy. Genuinely, really love. Some of my favorite ABBA songs are on this album. When All Is Said and Done, this powerful breakup song, apparently it's between two members that were in this group, but regardless, just as a general song, it sounds, you can hear the emotion. The instrumental is almost beautiful. Like it's phenomenal. After hearing the first couple songs, you wouldn't expect it to be a positive sounding song when we're talking about something as heartbreaking as a breakup, but they do put a very positive and very I guess a good spin on the breakup, saying that it was for the best, it was something that we both couldn't handle with, nobody's to blame for this, and hopefully we all become better out of this. I really loved it. It's a really good song, really catchy, just very nice to listen to. Soldiers comes back to that political narrative. I think it's the only other song that I can recall that touches on something a bit more political, besides the intro track. And yeah, this song again, some form of group in power that are, I guess, leading people into war, and as civilians, that it's talking about that fear of war hitting them, or that fear of somebody coming to strike them down because of a war that their government has signed them up for, and having this strength that soldiers portray when they go into war themselves, that pride that soldiers have. There is no, whenever a country goes into war, there is no like, oh yeah, I'll just let the soldiers handle it. The civilians got to, deal with it as well. And I think it's a great track in terms of the way that it's structured. Lyrically, I think it does come across as a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It doesn't quite go full in on the narrative or on the point that they're trying to make, but it's still an enjoyable song to listen to, at least. And I really do wish they kind of were a little bit stronger on the narrative, and they did go a little bit heavier on what they wanted to talk about. But yeah, it was still a good track to listen to. I Let the Music Speak, again, great track. Sounds almost like something from a Disney movie, talking about the power of songwriting when trying to portray emotion. I totally agree. Great track, very nice to listen to again. Vocals are really good on this track as well. I think the vocals on this track might be my favorite vocals on any of the songs on this album. You know, the instrumental isn't anything out of the ordinary. It sounds very nice, it's orchestral, but it's the vocals that really take this song and take it and makes it become what it is. And my god, can I just say, Slipping Through My Fingers is my favorite ABBA song ever. This song is incredible. It's beautiful. It's a song about a parent that has watched their child grow up, and it's that feeling of seeing that child grow up really, really quickly. For me, I think this song is really powerful because it's not just about parenting. It's also just talking about how life flies by and you really have to cherish every single moment. And in its own respect, this song has honestly like changed my life a little bit, because it has made me really try to cherish every single day, every single second. Really not just go for everything that I want to do, especially when it comes to these little videos here, but also like going outside and just soaking in the sunshine, or taking in the nice daylight out there, or taking in the rain, or the fresh air that I have, the people around me, the family that I have. You know, things change very drastically. You're not going to have the people beside you forever. You know, you're not going to be around forever. So it's just that idea of taking in time before time takes over your life, you know. And I think that is a very special message. The song is very, you know, beautiful, but also like, it's not melancholic, but definitely something a little bit more heartbreaking a little bit, because it is that feeling of regret on this song in particular, but it doesn't come across as like negative. You know, it still is like in that mindset of, you know, I have to cherish every single second from this point onwards. And I think, yeah, this is a song that I come back to a lot, and it is a song that I'm going to continue to come back to for a very, very long time too. I also want to talk about Two for the Price of One. I know this is a controversial take, but I really, really like this song too. It doesn't fit in with the vibe of the rest of the album, obviously. It's about, you know, a guy signing up for a threesome and then finding out that apparently, I guess, it might be one of the girls might be the mum of the other girl. I guess, bro. I guess lyrically, it's not that interesting, but in terms of the actual song, like the structure, the instrumentation with the little guitar, that flailing guitar in the background that comes in every few seconds, the hook is super catchy. Like, this song is genuinely really good to listen to. It's actually one of my favorites. Although the lyrics are as ridiculous as they sound, it genuinely does come together quite well. And it's not like there's any particular lyrics that don't, like, they're like embarrassing to sing along to, you know. It's told in a way that isn't, you know, on the nose. It's a bit tongue-in-cheek, you know, two for the price of one, stuff like that. It's very tongue-in-cheek, but I really, really actually enjoy the song, and I think it's fun, it's enjoyable. Yeah, really, really like this one. Now, obviously, there are some downsides to this track list. There are some songs that I haven't spoken about yet because I just wasn't that interested in them, or wasn't the biggest fan of them. One of Us is one of those songs where I can see them, you know, some people enjoying this, but it's just not, it doesn't really grab to me. It's alright. The instrumentation is quite static. It isn't as exciting or passionate or emotional as some of the other songs on this album. And I do think that even the vocals sound a bit, you know, less passionate, especially considering it's something that has a very similar subject matter to the other breakup song, When It's All Said and Done. You know, somebody broken up, and then that feeling of like, oh, I kind of wish I had somebody near me right now, which is something that is very touching, very heartbreaking. You could have put a little bit more more passion into the vocals here, a little bit more passion in the lyrics here, but you know, regardless, it's all right. It's okay. It's not one of my favorites at all. Head Over Heels is another one that I really am just not a fan of. It's a song that just doesn't sound that nice on the ears to me. The instrumentation is very, like, again, static, and it's kind of like off-putting, which I kind of get because, you know, it's about a song about falling in love, and a lot of the songs on this album are talking about breakups and stuff like that, so it's like this spiraling feeling of falling in love. It makes it sound like it's something scary, like a disease or something, which I get, cool, it's fine, but the song itself is just really not that enjoyable to listen to. The chorus is quite, you know, off. It just doesn't sound that catchy. The vocals are not layered that well, to the point, like, the harmony is not layered that well. It doesn't come across quite nicely, but again, it's not awful, it's not terrible, it's just probably not a great, it's not terrible, it's not awful or anything, it's just, yeah, it just doesn't come together quite well for me. Yeah, it's probably one of my least favorite ABBA songs I've heard in a long time. And finally, I want to really touch up on the outro. It's about that feeling of reminiscing on a relationship that has ended, and she is compared to a ghost that flies through, or an angel that flies through your window, and it, you know, is putting a positive spin on that feeling of love, but also that isolated vocal with this very, like, simplistic, sweet backdrop sounds, you know, it sounds very lonely, it sounds very melancholic. I do kind of wish that the song was a bit grander. I wish that the outro was a little bit stronger, especially considering the fact that, you know, this is ABBA. You know, I kind of wished that they came in with a little bit more passion on the vocals, a little bit more passion in the instrumental. But I can appreciate the outro for what it is. It's not a bad outro, it's a decent outro. I just wish it was a little bit stronger, you know? So with that said, I think this is a very strong track list. There's only a couple songs that I'm not a fan of. But generally speaking, the rest of this track list is very, very nice. Very good to listen to, very enjoyable. A lot of catchy songs on this. Really want to emphasize how much I love slipping through my fingers, and when it's all said and done, those two songs are incredible. And yeah, I think that wraps up my thoughts on ABBA's The Visitor. Sorry, I've just a little pigeon behind me. So yeah, with that said, I think I'm gonna put this in the B tier, but it's going to be very high up on the B tier. I think I'm going to give it a B+. Not far off from an A tier at all. I think the track list is strong. It just has those two songs that are really, like, they're not like okay songs. They're songs I really don't come back to at all. I think if they left those two songs out, we're talking about a solid A tier track list here. Yeah, I think it definitely does put a strong foot against Arrival for me. It is very close to being my favorite, or at least, you know, being a strong second favorite. But, you know, I feel like I should let time take its course before I start giving it that kind of title, because Arrival is another very strong album. But again, of course, if you have heard ABBA songs before, definitely check out this album. It is enjoyable, and as always, if you are joining me on this journey, then definitely listen to this too, because, again, I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Tell me if you agree or disagree in the comments. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. On to the next one. Bye.